This series was funded by great viewers just like you over on Patreon. Check out the description or end of the video to hear how you can take part in making the show even more amazing. Hey everyone, Gaijin
and Goombah here,
and welcome to the very first episode of Witch Ninja, a brand new series looking at media's most popular shinobi and how they stand up to the real thing, made possible by all my wonderful patrons who have helped bring this show to life. Although I do have to wonder how much my co-host actually knows about real ninja.
Relax. While I've been gone, I've been mastering all the great shinobi techniques of stealth and misdirection, teleportation, substitution, shadow cloning. Hey, you guys want to get some pizza?
Oh yeah,
dude,
that's
not
not
getting
great
right.
idea.
That just drives me crazy. And elemental manipulation.
And where exactly did you learn all of these shinobi techniques?
Internet?
Yeah, nice try, buddy, but those aren't even close to what actual ninja are. You want to talk real ninja? I've been pouring over tons of material in English and Japanese, getting hands-on experience with their tools of trade, and multiple times now I've visited the birthplaces of ninjutsu like Iga, learning what it really meant to be a shinobi and uncovering as much of their esoteric culture as I can. And believe it or not, true ninjas are far different things than what people understand them to be.
Well, that sounds cool and all, but why go through all the trouble?
Because the way of the true ninja is dying. After hundreds if not thousands of years, ninja masters all over Japan are not passing down their teachings and techniques of true shinobi to successors. For example, Jinichi Kawakami, the 21st head of the Bon clan, has the ability to hear a needle drop on a wood floor, mix herbs he could find right outside his door to make deadly poisons, and pretty much bust any lock put in front of his face. But he's deciding to let his knowledge die with him as he believes the techniques of the true shinobi have no place in the modern world.
Well, that's how things go, isn't it? Ninjas had their place during Japan's Sengoku Jidai like any old-fashioned spy in a time of war. It doesn't seem like they really are relevant in this day and age.
I suppose you could say that if it wasn't for the fact that ninja utterly dominate our media. From James Bond's You Only Live Twice in 1967, when the West was first introduced to ninja, to every form of media, cartoons, video games, anime, movies, everyone knows what ninja are, but very few people actually know what ninja are. But besides the fact that they're nearly all-encompassing in our popular media, whilst true technology is dominating the roles of espionage and spying, shinobi were the true MacGyvers of Japan, able to do so much with only a handful of tools and trinkets alongside their awareness training at their disposal. Human ingenuity at that level is something technology cannot replace.
Which is why you suggested the show.
Exactly, and granted, I've covered ninja many times before in my past videos, but I've always wanted to do something more focused. Because while some of my future topics do a phenomenal job at recreating the true essence of the shinobi, others are less than complimentary. Which are good and which are bad, that's what I want to talk about in Witch Ninja.
So what did you have in mind for today?
Well, it's a little unorthodox and probably something mainstream media may not be a buzz about right now, but I've been dying to talk about SPECTER KNIGHT, a character from an award-winning and personal favorite indie game of mine, Shovel Knight.
Wait, what? SPECTER KNIGHT? Isn't he an undead Grim Reaper? What in the world are you talking about?
SPECTER KNIGHT is totally a ninja.
Prove it.
Gladly. Yes, it is true that SPECTER KNIGHT is an undead abomination who rules over the Lich Yard as one of the Order of No Quarter, but seriously, when was the last time you saw a Grim Reaper-like character do this? Straight up wall running, kick flipping, nimble enemy dashing, the dude even surfs on his scythe. Seriously, does that give the air of a shadow-dwelling reaper or an agile ninja?
Fair point, but he uses a giant scythe to attack with. Exactly like every other Grim Reaper figure we've seen.
True, but that is far from the only thing that he uses. Like the other campaigns of the game, SPECTER KNIGHT has a wide variety of tools at his disposal as alt weapons. He can get his health back by absorbing souls through a skull like freaking Shang Tsung. He can summon skeletons to fight for him, he can fly through the air and slice at enemies, but that only makes up half of his abilities. The others that he has truly smacks of something ninja.
Like?
Well, his other scythes for one. SPECTER KNIGHT has two other forms of sickle use, the throwing sickle and the spider sickle. The earlier is a straight-up thrown projectile weapon with the potential of boomeranging back, while the latter has the ability to climb up walls. In fact, you might find yourself using these hand sickles a lot more than your regular large scythe. In contrast, while ninja were often believed to use the stereotypical straight-bladed swords as their main weapons, these actually were not used very much at all. Swords were not only hard to make, but were outlawed to anyone who wasn't a samurai in the later part of the Warring States period in Japan. Instead, Ninja had to rely on more covert tools to use as weapons, which is why the Kama, a humble hand sickle used for farming, became one of the most well-known and notorious weapons of the Shinobi.
Well, that makes sense, but it's also part of Specter Knight's theming. Surely there's more to the theory than that.
Absolutely! Take the Dread Talon for example. A claw that Specter Knight apparently pulls out of the ether and does a quick one-time slash overpowering his enemy. There isn't a single time I can think of where a Grim Reaper character used something like this, but you bet your butt Shinobi used it all the time. Take the Nekote for example. Literally meaning cat's paw, these razor-sharp iron caps would snugly fit over the fingers of the ninja, which, quoting my hard text research, transforms a normal human hand into the equivalent of an animal's talons. The fact that the caps would be difficult to keep on one's fingers typically meant that it was a one-time use weapon to quickly overpower an enemy. But add a coat of poison to those tips and one swipe might be all you need. Shinobi also had the Tekko Kage at their disposal. A fist weapon modeled after bear claws, the Tekko Kage's bladed edges and added weight allowed for the wearer to effectively repel weapons like katanas while giving them the ability to disable or horribly maim their opponents quickly.
Fair enough, that definitely covers a lot of the tools of the Shinobi, but what about the mysterious art of Ninpo? All those mental and spiritual techniques that allowed the ninja to do near inhuman things? How does Specter Knight fit into all of that?
The Shadow Mirror.
Wait, what? That item that lets Specter Knight make a clone of... Oh.
Right? The concept of shadow clones may have been popularized by shows like Naruto, but it by all means is nothing new to ninjutsu. Bushin no Jutsu is actually a ninpo technique that has long since been in shinobi practice, just not the way you think. One theory behind the technique is that ninjas would move exceedingly fast and stop for a brief moment on purpose. This gives the illusion that there are multiple copies of the same ninja everywhere, which, given the fact you're likely going to encounter one in a low-light, cramped area, such tricks of the eyes are possible. The other theory is that a handful of ninja would wear the same clothing and quickly move in a tight, coordinated pattern as to make the enemy think that it was multiple people of one mind. Can't imagine how long that choreography took to master.
That makes sense, but there's still the question of why Specter Knight, an obvious Grim Reaper character, has all these agile ninja-like abilities.
Well, because he was a ninja in a past life. This is getting into some spoiler territory, so back out now if that matters to you. But we can see in the flashbacks that before he was Specter Knight, Donovan was, well, just look at him. He's a freaking ninja. Yeah, he's got armor on beneath his navy blue cowl and cloak, but guess what? So did Ninja. He also wields a curved katana-looking sword, and like I said earlier in this video, Ninja didn't really use straight blades like we see in popular media. More often than not, if they used swords, they were either purchased or stolen katanas, or more likely wakizashis due to their smaller size. Finally, the one sub-weapon that Donovan uses in this game are caltrops, 4-pronged tacks that would land pointed side up no matter how you threw them. And Ninja had their own version called makibishi, which, when it's your job to escape with stolen goods and information, these were invaluable in slowing down pursuers.
I can definitely see all that, but all of that feels really circumstantial though. Surely you've got more harder evidence than that?
Dude, I've got the hardest evidence proving that Specter Knight is based on Ninja.
Oh? Do tell.
Yacht Club Games told me so.
Wait, what?
No lie, as I was researching Spectre of Torment, I was getting more and more curious about the origins of Specter Knight's moveset. Finally, I just asked them and got an email back from David D'Angelo himself saying that, quote, his design was definitely inspired heavily by ninjas. They looked into 3D Ninja Gaiden games a lot when establishing his moveset, and honestly, you can't look me in the eye and say that the Barrier Lantern isn't totally inspired by Ninja Gaiden's Art of the Fire Wheels.
Wow, that's crazy.
Right? This is what I mean. The romanticized concept of ninja are absolutely everywhere in popular media, from as early as the 1960s to today in 2017. But we rarely get to see what true ninja really were and how their sheer level of ingenuity is something that even modern times can learn from. But I suppose it's pretty appropriate that we do know so little. They are ninja after all. But uncovering what we don't know is what I hope to do with this show, and you guys can help. As mentioned in the beginning of the video, this series is completely made possible by my supporters on Patreon, and with enough support I can accomplish other goals like uploading the show more often or even making my core content ad-free. Now I know there might be some concerns, so let me clarify a few things right now. My regular cultural analysis videos aren't going anywhere, this show will never, repeat, never be behind a paywall, and your support doesn't come empty-handed either. I have tons of rewards from watching Witch Ninja a day early and ad-free, to update audio vlogs, polls deciding new topics, special shoutouts, and even one-on-one meetings. You guys have given me so much over the last 5 years, I want to give something back that's worth supporting. But for now, thanks for watching, everyone. I know the Shinobi was announced not too long ago for For Honor, so if I can find the time, I definitely want to try and break down his combat styles and compare them to true ninja. But until next time, everyone, this is Gaijin Goombah, signing out.